UFC Seattle. If you'd have watched my live, okay, I always do a pre-fight live, and I did a prediction for this fight. There was quite a few MMA people with YouTube channels. They all gave their prediction. You probably know who they are. They all said Izzy was gonna win. My little small little tiny YouTube channel in this MMA universe, I said Izzy was gonna lose by stoppage. Izzy lost by stoppage. As I said, I don't make predictions in here. We're like, oh, he's my best mate, or I know him, I train with him, I've loved that guy. No, no. I'm making honest and clear predictions here. I don't care. I have to be honest and make honest and clear predictions, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people are not making honest and clear predictions. We'll get into the fight anyway. We'll get into the whole card. I'm just gonna quickly go through the whole card. Obviously what happened, but I just want to say I told you so straight from the jump. This was a banging card. This is one of the best cards I've seen. This was really good. This was a action-packed card. This was the card that Paramount needed. Like, if you was to start the Paramount deal, this should have been a card. They should have put in this fight night. Should have been the first card for Paramount, because this was a great introduction. This would have been a great introduction to MMA fans to UFC with this card here. He had finishes left, right, and center. You know what I mean? It was finish after finish after finish. Solid card. Great card. And we're going to go through it now. We're going to go through the card now. As I said, I told you so. I told you lot so. So, the first fight, actually, Alexia Fanara beats Bruna Silva. Yeah, that's Alexiana was the same person that beat Molly McCann. So she's actually pretty good. She's on a 4-fight winning streak. She's tied 4th with the longest winning streak in the strawweight division at the moment. She gets a unanimous decision over Bruna Brazil. Yeah, El Brigado. Then we have Ricky Simone versus Andre Yanes. That was a great fight. That was a decent fight, but it ended in a majority draw. Then we have Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. Now, Navajo is, I think, 7-0, 8-0 going into here. He trains with Izzy as well. So he's obviously around a great camp, great people to train with. He currently is like, before this fight, he had only decision wins, but he got the knockout here. It was a bit of a safe fight, but then he started turning it up and then got the win. So congratulations to Navajo Sterling, man. He's going to be a problem for the light heavyweights. Then we have Casey O'Neill against Gabriela Fernandez. Casey O'Neill, she's been off with dealing with injuries. She's originally from Scotland, yeah, but she now lives in Australia. She just connected with some nice punches, and then bam, got the KO. So congratulations to Casey. Good to see her back in there. Then we had this fight. Tyrell Fortune versus Marcin Tybura. Tyrell just reminds me of like a DC. A DC character, like wrestling, and that's it. We're saying that DC has got hands too, but he's like a good wrestler. He just reminds me of DC. So when I watched the fight, I said to myself, yeah, that was a good fight. Pretty wrestling heavy. And Tyrell Fortune definitely won that. That's what I was thinking to myself. That would definitely won that. Then it goes to the judges and they gave it to Marcin Tybura. I was like, really? I said that. Hey, the other week they had a bad judge the other week. Hey, again. And then they come back and read out the correct decision, which Tyrell Fortune won. Come on now. You can't be making those mistakes there. You really can't be making those mistakes. That's like an amateur hour type thing. You cannot be doing that in one of the biggest billion-dollar organization. We can't get the pronunciation right of the winner. So was not a good look. That was a bit of a black eye, to be honest. Then we have Lance Gibson Jr. versus Chase Hooper. Now, Chase Hooper is a really good, solid fighter. He's a like an up-and-comer, surging prospect with quite a few wins as well. Lance Gibson Jr. didn't care about none of that. He didn't care about none of that. And when you look at both of them, Lance did look a bit more stockier, look more filled out than Chase. And then he got the TKO victory by knees. If you go on Lance's wiki, he doesn't have a wiki. Chase does. So now soon he'll have a wiki now. Then we have Taufik Masus versus Ignacio Bonamondes. That was a really good fight. That was a solid fight between the two, both throwing down, both back and forth. But I'm gonna call it Taufik. Taufik just started using his wrestling. He started using his wrestling and got top position, and then basically stole the 2 rounds. Not to say he stole 2 rounds, he won 2 rounds. A good 2 rounds with the wrestling top position, and then got the victory. Then we go on to the main card. Terence McKinney versus Carl Nelson. Now, Terence McKinney, he needs a new name, mate. They call him T-Rex, but he should be called something else. He should be like the Highlight version 2, something like that. He needs some kind of name like that. The Highlight version 2. Because every fight he has is a barn burner. His kill or be killed. He wins or he gets knocked out. He knocks them out or he gets knocked out. Simple as that. It's entertaining. It's like them Dan Hooker 1 minute fights, 1 minute brawls. That's what it is. And he actually gets the victory over Carl Nelson. He started exchanging and then hit him with a great left high kick, and then finished with punches. It was a great finish. Then we have Yusuri Balgoria defeats Mansour Abdul Malik by TKO knee. So you need to, if you don't know who Yusuri is, I do know he is. I just put a mix up pronunciation. If you don't know who Yusuri is, he trains with Alex Poultin-Pereira. If you go onto Alex Pereira's YouTube channel, you will see him there. He's always there. He's one of his main training partners. So everything he's bringing into the octagon, he's bringing in from training from Alex Poultin-Pereira. He has a 27 wins in kickboxing, 7 losses, and in MMA, 10 wins and 3 losses. So he's doing bits, and he's training with Poultin, the champ. Well, you might as well call him the champ, but yeah. Then we have Lauren Douglas versus Julian Erosa. Douglas's straight punches, those jabs were massive. They were some of the most powerfulest jabs I've seen. Every time he would jab, he would knock him down. Every time he would jab, he would knock down Erosa. It was crazy. A crazy amount of power behind those jabs. So, and he scored TKO. That was definitely a really big victory there. So let's see what happens there. Then we have Nico Price versus Michael Chiesa in Michael Chiesa's last fight. But I believe it was Nico Price's last fight as well. Literally took down Nico Price. Bam, into a rear naked choke. That was it. That's how you want to go out on your last fight. You want to go out like that. It was a really good look for him. Got the submission. Easy, light work. It's obviously Nico Price is a strong person. I'm saying like it was like light work in the fact that he got the submission. So Michael Chiesa gets the victory there, and he rises into the sunset with all his brain cells and everything. So he is now fully retired and is not fighting anymore. Nice, great send off. But people will say, people are going to Netflix and that. I think to go to Netflix, you have to be a big name. He could probably fight on a Netflix undercard if he wasn't to be retired. That's if he's fought out his contract. So we will see. But congratulations to Michael Chiesa. Hell of a career. He could have been a title contender, but just what happened to him, he'd get to those big fights and he would lose those critical fights. The critical fights where he needed to win, he would actually lose those fights, unfortunately. So, but he had a great career, and all the best to Michael Chiesa. He can just continue being a commentator anyway, because that's what he's doing. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Wow, bro. Wow, wow, wow. Like I said, this Seattle card was fire. They came there to show out in Seattle. I don't know what it's like in the water or in the food in Seattle. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so the main card, you had all finishes on the main card. Gee, and on the undercard, you had what, 3 finishes. Gee, yo, Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. I want to say this firstly to the Mexican fans, to Alexa Grasso. My bad. I didn't know what was going on. She's a champion, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know she was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I didn't know. Yeah. Because she lost to Natalia Silva prior to that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. But this fight here, she was on point, mate. Her boxing was pinpoint accuracy. Yeah. It was bing, 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 bing. She looked like Powhatan. You know what I mean? Just fighting like Powhatan, yeah? You know what I mean? With that power, with everything. She did say she had to deal with injuries prior. Look, I don't know. The thing is, when you, as I keep saying, when people say, "Oh, they've got injuries, etc., etc." When you look back at Wiki, all you see is win and losses. You don't see anything about whether they've got an injury or not. So I don't have a clue about that. But yeah, but pinpoint accuracy with the knockout there, it was sick. Hey, Macy Barber was like, it was like RIP. It was out. I've never seen it out, bro. It was out. I was like, damn, bro. Like they should have got the medics in there, but she was still breathing. Like the chest was still going up and down, and she was still breathing. So that was a good thing. Then we get to the main event of the evening. When I was doing this live the other day, when I went live and I gave my prediction, one of you lot said, "Am I intoxicated? Am I inebriated?" Well, that's what one of you lot said. There's another word to use of it, HIGH. That's what one of you lot said when I gave my prediction. What can I say now? I'll tell you, I told you so. Now, this is why you lot need to listen to me. Some of you lot out there, you just new MMA fans, you just casuals. You watch oh, that was a good knockout, then you'll go on to watch something else. Some of you lot are new, but I know what I'm talking about. As I said, it was going to be a knockout. It was a flipping knockout. You got to look at the dynamic. Who's taller? I think Izzy was taller. Fife was, I think, 3 inches shorter. I think Izzy was 36. Fife was 29. Pfeiffer hits a lot harder too. So you got to think about it. You got 25 minutes to avoid this person's power. So you got 25 minutes to avoid Pfeiffer's power. It's not really going to happen. It's not really good, but it was happening. It was happening. He looked good. He looked good. I can't knock. He did look good. But like I said, I predicted he was going to lose. He always looks good. This is the trend that's now coming up. He looks good for the first, maybe second round, and then it just goes, it just goes, falls flat on its face. That's what we saw yesterday night. He looked good in the first round, and in the second round, it just went downhill, and then he got finished. That's what keeps happening to him. Pfeiffer was getting pieced up a bit in the first round. I thought Izzy won the first round. I definitely thought he won that. I think it only went 2 rounds. Was it 2 rounds he won? Let me check. I think it was only 2 rounds. Let me check. Yeah, it was. It was only 2 rounds. Um, yeah, he went two, he went 2 rounds, bro. Um, then he gets taken down. I think he got taken down. I can't. That's the only thing. I can't remember if he went for a lateral trip or lateral drop, or he got taken down. But he got taken down in the middle of the octagon, top control from Joe PYFER. Joe PYFER just took the back and started wailing away at Izzy. He started banging his head on the floor with his fist, and he hits hard. Yeah, he hits really hard. So you don't want to be taking any unanswered blows from that guy. And that's what happened. Izzy got taken down, he was on his belly, and then Joe PYFER just started wailing away at his head top. And that was it. Banged him out. Done. You know what I mean? Stoppage again. But I predicted it. I predicted that Izzy would lose again. I predicted it. It's his 4th loss in a row now. What is it? He's won out his last 5, I think now. Won out his last 5? Yeah, won out his last 5. 4-fight losing streak. His career is starting to mirror the end of Anderson Silva's career. Anderson Silva was on like a 4-5 fight losing streak. His career is now starting to mirror that. It's like, it's crazy. 2 of the best middleweights, and they go out like that. So what's next for Joe PYFER? I'd like to see Joe PYFER versus Paulo Costa. That'd be a good fight. Or Joe PYFER versus Robert Whittaker. Or Joe PYFER versus RDR. That'd be a good fight. Or Brendan Allen. One of those fighters. He definitely should be up there, fighting the top contenders. Definitely. So that's what I think he should do next. Pardon me. As for Izzy, he said he's going to continue fighting. I don't know how many fights have got listed on his contract. The thing is now, he's got a lot of money, okay? I'm not saying he's just, but why would you continue to fight if you're not winning? Like, I don't know. I know he's getting paid. I'm not saying it's a money thing. He's just doing it for the money because he wants to fight his contract and honor his contract. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Maybe he wants to honor his contract and still get paid, even though he's losing. My thing here, though, he's been stopped in his last 2 fights. Okay, knocked out by Imavov, and then stopped by PYFER, who hits like a hammer. Okay, taking these shots to the head is not good, especially if the referee is pulling you off. Yeah. As I said before, he has his own establishment. He's got his own sort of land, his own facility with his own flats, things like that. He's doing music, he's doing DJing, he's doing all these other things. If you continue to take these blows to the head and be stopped, it's like, will you get to actually spend the money that you're accumulating? This is the issue. This is what I'm trying to say. And what is his coaches doing? Like, I think someone needs to talk to him. So I feel someone needs to have a conversation with him. Because he's on a 4-fight losing streak. 2 of them are stoppages. Come on now. Have a conversation with him. I think he needs a real conversation, real sit down. To be like, yo, bro, what are we doing here? You're getting bashed up constantly. You're getting you've been flatlined twice. Yeah? You got banged up and choked out by DDP. You got bashed up, yeah, by Sean Strickland. What are we doing here, bro? Before he was on an all-fight win streak, beat everyone. All right, he lost to Jan Blachowicz. He was trying to be great. Cool. Came back, got back to work. Then he lost to Potan. He got back at Potan. And now he's just losing constantly. So for me, I'm coming in a position, and like I said, I'm not bashing Izzy. I like Izzy. I think Izzy's awesome. Izzy's great. Izzy's one of the greatest of all time. But the thing is, it's like you're taking too many losses. It's not even losses. It's the way you're losing. you're being stopped 3 times. You've been stopped 3 times in a row. Submission, TKO, TKO. It's just not good. And fighter safety. No one's going to tell him to stop fighting, because if you look at it, it's all a business. The coaches get paid. So they're going to be like, he could be on 10 in a row. Go, keep fighting, Izzy. Keep fighting, man. Keep fighting. You still paying me, yeah? All right, keep fighting, keep fighting. A. He also has a manager. This is why I think Sean O'Malley is one of the smartest fighters in the game. He doesn't have a manager. Sean O'Malley manages himself, but Izzy has a manager who takes a cut from his purse, a percentage, 15%, whatever it is. He takes a percentage. So he is not going to want Izzy to stop, because he's going to want to make his money out of Izzy, okay? So, and you got everything else that's going around. I'm not saying he's surrounded by yes men, but I'm saying the thing, not if it's just Izzy, it's just boxers, mixed martial artists, fighters in general who have managers and coaches. They want to make a living. So they're not really going to say to him, yo, bro, let's stop it. You know what I mean? They're not going to say it. They're going to be like, bro, continue. Hey, you got caught. Oh, it was an accident. You got caught. You was winning that, bro, until you weren't winning it. That means nothing to me. The end result is what matters. If you lost, you lost. You win. I don't care about how you looked in the first round. You lost. I don't care. So, but they'll be like, oh, bro, you look good in the first round, bro. You look good. You'll win next time. Let's do it again. You know what I mean? And then be 5th and 5 losses in a row, or 6 in a row, 7 in a row. I don't know how much long he's got left on his contract, but and he's losing to. I'm not saying, hey, Joe Fiver is a beast, and I said this before, but he's losing to non-champions like DDP, even though he should have won that, but yeah, whatever. But he lost to DDP, champion. You also lost to Sean Strickland, champion. You also lost to Poatan, champion. But now he's starting to lose to non-champions. Imavov, non-champion. Joe Pfeiffer was ranked number 14. Okay? Do you see where we're going here? Who are you going to put him against next? I don't think, the way it's looking, I don't think Izzy can beat any of these guys anymore. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Unless he fights, I'm not sure, a middleweight who doesn't have knockout. But Joe Fiver was, you're gonna get knocked out. You're gonna get caught by that guy. But maybe there's a middleweight he can fight who doesn't have knockout power and his wrestling is average. Like, that's what they need to be feeding him. But they're feeding him these maniacs, these people who are coming out, like I said, who need these bonuses. These fighters who he's facing needs the performance bonuses. They get bonus. Oh my god, I won the bonus. He's fighting those kind of people. People like Sean O'Malley, Connor, Poatan, they don't care about bonuses. They've got that much money. The bonuses don't mean anything. It's like, okay, great. I'll put some new wheels on my truck. Yeah, great. The ones who are like, oh, got a bonus, and go, oh my god, they're the ones. They're the hardest fighters to fight, because they need the money. They are hungry. They're, like I said before, they're paying for them. They're probably behind on bills, behind on their light bill, behind on the rental payments, behind on the car note. Yeah, they've probably got a woman that needs taken care of too. So they need that money, bro. You know what I mean? So they're the hungriest. They're the worst. That's the worst type of fight. They should be giving Izzy somebody who's happy, someone who's got money. You know what I mean? They're coming for it, but they're not really bothered. But who are these people? I'm not sure. Should they get him fighting Paulo Costa? Probably Paulo Costa rematch. The way Paulo Costa might win that, the way Izzy's fighting. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say. But that's my rant, really. Unfortunately, my prediction was correct. I predicted that Izzy would lose, and he unfortunately was stopped. And I predicted it, okay? My predictions are correct, okay? What next? We have another live coming up. So I'll be doing another live. It is Money Morocano versus Duncan, I think, Chris Duncan. So I'll do a live for that as well, full breakdown, and we'll talk about any other AOB, I mean, AOB in the week. Anything else happens, we'll talk about it. But also, I want to say congratulations to Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest of all time, the most title defenses in the UFC. I know people that talk about Anderson. Anderson had 10. Yeah, it was 10. Yeah, it was 10. Demetrius had 11. Okay. He is one of the GOATs. He is definitely one of the GOATs. He's definitely up there as one of the greatest of all time. He's now in the UFC Hall of Fame. Well deserved for Demetrius Johnson. He deserves that fully, and I'm happy for him. It's a shame he couldn't finish his career in the UFC. He finished it in one, but he's now retired. But he's one of the greatest. He is one of the greatest of all time. Where do I have him on my greatest of all time list? That's a conversation for another day. But yeah, congratulations to Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, so that's it from me, really. As I said, you know about the giveaway. I've told you a lot about the giveaway. You need to reply to me by Tuesday in England, GMT time, 11:59 p.m. Anything after that is out. But anything before that is in, as in answers. Great night of fights in UFC Seattle. You'll see me in a live next Saturday with our giveaway question, who won the giveaway, and my predictions. See you later.